welcome. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. I've been posting videos on YouTube for about 10 years now, and I do try to read as many comments as I can, respond to as many comments as I can, and some of my favorite comments, for obvious reasons, are the ones that say something like, I've been watching you for the past 10 years and you seem to be looking younger instead of older. And let's be honest, who doesn't love to hear that? For those of you who might be new to my channel, I'm 51, I'll be 52 in May, and I currently do not have any Botox or fillers in my face. I did have some lip filler around 2016-ish, but I had it dissolved in 2017 and I haven't touched my lips since. So what have I done to age in reverse? My neck is certainly not aging in reverse. That is something that I do plan to eventually get lifted. The first thing I've changed is I've started using tools and gadgets like gua sha and LED masks religiously. In the past, I always just sort of poo-pooed those things because I thought they were just very gimmicky, that they weren't going to show any real results, and the LED masks looked like they would be kind of uncomfortable. But then I was sent one to try, and I thought, why not? Let's see what it does. And I was really, really impressed by the results. However, I did think there were a couple of things about the first one, the first brand that I tried, that could be improved. And then a couple of weeks ago, iRESTORE sent over their Illumina face mask. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have caught an Instagram story I posted a couple of weeks ago when I was testing out the mask. I said something like my Friday night plans, and I got so many DMs asking me what mask I was using. And my mom actually just sent a message with like a bunch of question marks. It's like, what the heck is that? Because she had never seen an LED mask before. And I found that sort of amusing. Anyway, I am partnering with iRESTORE today to give you all the information you need about their Illumina LED face mask. I'm going to tell you why it's different from the others, and I also have a promo code that I will be sharing with you so that you can get money off your purchase. The first thing you need to know about the Illumina LED face mask is that it has 360 medical grade LEDs to give you faster and better results. It simultaneously treats with red, infrared, and blue light. So you can treat aging, inflammation, and acne with one device at one time. There are 3 wavelengths and 3 modes. P1 is red and infrared to reduce fine lines and wrinkles, firm, brighten, and even the skin tone, and calm redness and inflammation. P2 is the trifecta. That is the red and infrared and blue, and this will reduce redness, alleviate scars and hyperpigmentation, and rejuvenate sun-damaged skin. P2 is my personal favorite because I do have hyperpigmentation. I used to break out a lot as a teen, and I was left with a lot of dark spots along my jawline. I've also had oily skin my whole life, and I have very large pores, and I've noticed that the P2 setting seemed to help to refine the look of my pores, and P3 is blue light. And I do use this setting once in a while because blue light can help balance oil production, and as I mentioned, I do get very, very oily, and it helps fight any new bacteria to prevent acne breakouts. It also has these comfort, soft, integrated eye shields that are specifically designed to block light from your eyes. With other masks I've tried, I've had to just lay in bed and close my eyes because the light is just so bright and my eyes are very sensitive. What I personally love so much about the Illumina face mask is that I can move around while it's on. It also has a clip-on battery pack. It means you can truly walk around and do things hands-free. I also like that this mask sort of hovers against your face, allowing for airflow, so you're not gonna get all sweaty and uncomfortable. And I also like that it covers the mouth area because I think we all want the benefits that we get on our entire face around our mouth as well. I do 10-minute sessions 3 to 5 times a week, and you can expect visibly better looking skin in 6 to 12 weeks. I'm at about the 3-week point. So I'm just going to show you some incredible before and afters taken from the iRESTORE website. And right now you can receive $205 off your purchase of the iRESTORE Illumina LED mask using my code that I will have right here on the screen. And I will definitely be updating you on my personal results. But you guys have noticed, even my husband has noticed, that without makeup, my skin is just looking so much more even toned and radiant. This is honestly the fastest I have seen any results from an LED mask. Hands down. Now, in addition to my newfound addiction to devices like LED masks, I have also upped my skincare game, specifically my makeup prep routine. I used to be very minimalist. I would just put on some moisturizer, some sunscreen, maybe a primer, then go in with my foundation and the rest of my makeup routine. These days, I'm spending a lot more time on the skin prep. I am way more into serums than I ever was. Recently, I've been testing out this one from the brand Mother Science. It is their Molecular Hero Serum. I heard about this from the lead makeup artist on the TV show White Lotus. I follow her on social media, and she has given a lot of behind-the-scenes information regarding the skincare, hair products, and makeup products that were used on the set. The White Lotus this season took place in Thailand, where it is extremely humid. So being that I am someone with oily skin and coarse frizzy hair that goes crazy in humidity, I could not wait to hear about the products that she was using in that environment. I also paid close attention because many of the actresses are around my age. And wow, did she make this serum sound incredible. It says here that this first of its kind serum dramatically reduces the appearance of dark spots and sun damage for an overall brighter and more youthful looking complexion. It's the only product to include molassasin, a breakthrough ingredient that is 10 times more powerful antioxidant than vitamin C, with radical results in dark spot reduction. See smoother, brighter skin starting in just 2 weeks, suitable for all skin types and tones. So I do believe that the combination of using this serum and this LED mask have truly, truly transformed my skin. But back to the skin prep. I recently started using this Bioma Hydrating Milky Toner. Who knew that a milky toner was even a necessary step? This particular milky toner hydrates, it repairs, it feels so good on the skin, it plays nicely under my makeup, and it doesn't contribute to more oil production, which is what I've always been fearful of. In my experience on myself, and even back when I was a working makeup artist, I always felt like too much skin prep contributed to too much oil and even too much cakiness. When the truth is, if you're using the right products, and by the way, products are much better than they were 20, 30 years ago when I first started out. But yeah, what I've learned in the past 10 years is that skin prep, as we get older, does require a little bit more trial and error and maybe a few more steps. And I think you'd all agree that as we get older, we kind of want to wear a little bit less makeup, a little bit less coverage. Don't get me wrong, I still love my glam, but I also would love to have more confidence wearing less. And over the past few years, working so hard on my skin and using such incredible products that did take a lot of trial and error, I do feel a lot more confident now than I did 10 years ago going out with a completely bare face. Speaking of that full glam, I would consider my look today pretty full glam, but it's definitely different than it was 10 years ago. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you may recall that I used this Stands Out sponge all the time. I raved about it all the time because it really is a great product. If you like full coverage, if you want that real flawless, just filter-like makeup look, this sponge is going to give it to you. But it is going to make everything look more full coverage. So what I used to do is apply a full coverage foundation with a full coverage sponge, and I loved the way it looked because my skin looked flawless when it really wasn't. And you may have noticed that in the past year or so, I have moved away from using that sponge, and more often than not, I will use a brush. My new favorite foundation brush is the Makeup by Mario F4. It's not a new brush to the market. It just took me a long time to try it, and I fell in love with it, and now I own a couple of them. They really give me just a soft, medium coverage, and if I want more full coverage, remember earlier in this video I spoke about the discoloration that I used to have a lot more of in this area along my jawline? That is where I would often take the Stands Out sponge and use that so that I could get more coverage just right around here. But now that that has improved, the hyperpigmentation has improved, I pretty much don't use the sponge. I still think it's a great product. It does serve a purpose, and it is one of the best sponges out there for achieving a flawless makeup look. But again, as we get older, we don't necessarily, well, it's not that we don't want that flawless look, it's just that we can't get away with as much coverage. Is that making sense? Hopefully that makes sense. I think it makes sense. Now when it comes to my eye makeup, because I have hooded eyes that sort of turn down on the outer corners, I'm all about the lift. So I have always worn a darker shadow on the outer corner of my eye and sort of blended it up towards my temple to give that lifted appearance. And I used to always go in with a dark shade like this, a dark brown. And then I'd apply my big lashes and I loved it. Nowadays, I move down to what I would used to put maybe in my crease. And I put these colors, these lighter browns or mauves or purples, and put that on the outer corner of my eye. So instead of using something real dark in the outer corners of my eye, I now strictly use those dark browns for liner. I only use light and mid-tone shades for my lids. No more really dark colors. I've noticed this a lot with Gen Z. When I'm scrolling through TikTok or Instagram and I come across some young woman in her 20s or even in her early 30s, I'm noticing that a lot of them aren't really wearing much eyeshadow at all. It's not as much of a thing as it is for us Gen X and millennials and even probably boomers. We like our eyeshadow. We love our eyeshadow. Gen Z, they don't seem to like it as much, but they still look great. So I thought, maybe I'll try it. Maybe I will lighten up on the eyeshadow. And I do think it is working for me. I've also given up the big false lashes. Those of you watching right now who have been with me for years, in some cases from the very beginning, you know how much I loved my lashes. I can probably count on 2 hands. Out of all the videos I've done, the hundreds of videos I've done, just 2 hands, the amount of times I have not worn false lashes in a video. You know what's sort of ironic? I did not wear false lashes on my wedding day almost 25 years ago. It will be 25 years ago on May 21st of this year. I did not wear false lashes because they just weren't a thing back then. I think it was in the early 2010s that they started becoming more and more popular. I owned a makeup boutique at the time, and I remember ordering false lashes because people were coming in and asking for them, and I started wearing them regularly. I noticed what a dramatic difference they made in my look, and I still think long, beautiful lashes are glamorous and feminine and can really take your look up a notch. But at the same time, I've come to realize that really big false lashes can be aging. I first started noticing it when I would watch those Real Housewives of Wherever shows on Bravo. As I was watching those shows, yes, I'm admitting to watching those shows. As I was watching, I would think to myself, gosh, those lashes, that makeup seems to be really aging her, whoever was on the screen at the time. So I have gradually toned down my lashes. I went from wearing a full strip to wearing corner lashes to now I just pretty much add individuals. If I'm going out for the night, I might add like 3 or 4 on the outer corners of my eyes. But lately I've just been doing one cluster, just one cluster either of these velour lashes, or I buy these clusters on Amazon. They're a lot less expensive. And I just pop one right on the outer corner of my eye. just for a little extra oomph. And I honestly think it looks better and more youthful than a full dramatic strip lash, especially in person. I mean, to be fair, those ladies on The Real Housewives, they're on camera or they're on stage, so I can see why they would want to go bigger, but I think there's a happy medium somewhere. I also am a big believer now in eyelash growth serums, but you want to make sure that you are using an eyelash growth serum without prostaglandin analogs. Prostaglandin analogs are what contribute to the darkening of the eye color, or that circle, I can't think of the name of what it is. And also, from what I understand, prostaglandin analogs can also contribute to fat pad loss around the eyes, making your eyes look more sunken. So no one wants that. I have been using and loving this lash serum from Swede Beauty for about a year, maybe even longer now. I've talked about it in several videos. I use it every single night and my lashes have grown. I seem more conditioned. Every mascara I use now works so much better because my natural lashes are no longer as puny as they were, thanks to a lash growth serum. I've also softened up my brows. I don't use pomades anymore. I don't fill in the front of my brow as much anymore, or at least not as heavily as I used to. I did have my eyebrows microbladed, I think in like 2015, 2016, and it was awful. It was not a good experience. I ultimately lost all brow hair at the front part of my brow. For the longest time, the hair follicle seemed to be completely dead because I could not get brow hairs to grow there. So no matter what type of pomade I used or what type of brow filling product I used, it just looked unnatural because I didn't really have any hairs there. But now there are so many products on the market, such as brow pens or fluffing brow waxes that contain fibers to naturally build up the brow. There are also brow pencils now that have such a fine tip that you can make beautiful, natural looking hair-like strokes with. So I have softened up my brows, I've lightened up my brows. In the past couple of years, the hairs have actually started growing back, so that's good. And finally, I want to talk about teeth. Having a white smile is going to keep you looking at least a few years younger than you are. I don't know why it happens, but our teeth do yellow as we age. I know I personally drink a lot more coffee now for energy than I used to 5 or 10 years ago. And as we all know, coffee can stain your teeth, red wine can stain your teeth, certain foods can stain your teeth. And let's be honest, whitening toothpaste, they really can't do, at least in my experience, they really can't do or don't do enough to whiten. I have had really good luck with these Crest Age Renew white strips. I can't use any of the white strips that are like really intense, that say, you know, intense whitening in 1 hour, because my teeth are just too sensitive. And the sensitive strips I feel like don't work as well. So again, I've had really good luck with these Age Renew strips. You do have to use the entire box for 21 days, but then I don't do it again for several months. And that is what's been keeping my smile nice and bright and white. So yeah, those are all of the things that I do, all of the products that I use to keep myself looking as youthful and fresh as possible. Should we be spending all of our time chasing youth? No. Getting older is a privilege. I'm so happy to be able to sit here and share my passion with you all. And I so love having built this community of like-minded people who love to talk about beauty, skincare, hair products, beauty devices, because you know what? For a lot of us, it's fun. It's a hobby, it's creative expression, and really, why not try to look our best? We don't have to give up on ourselves just because we're getting older. I do want to thank all of you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Every product I spoke about today, including the iRESTORE Illumina LED Face Mask, will be listed and linked down below in the description box of this video, and I once again will have that promo code for the Illumina face mask, also in the description box. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. And if you aren't currently subscribed to my channel, I hope that you will consider doing so. I do upload new videos at least twice per week. You can also find me over on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. My username is the same everywhere. It's Risa Does Makeup. Thank you again for watching. I hope to see you in my next video.